Hello everyone and welcome back to Almost There, a Twisted Tale novel here on Disney Magic. Zach Game, of course, Zach. And we are on chapter 35. Naveen sat at the rear of the boat feeling useless as Tiana, Lewis and even Charlotte worked in tandem to paddle the boat onwards. He picked up one of the wooden oars with the intention of doing his share of the work, but had to drop it seconds later. His hand still throbbed from his attempt to help. If he had still been in Maldonia, it would never have even occurred to him that he should contribute to the effort to row the boat, but he was no longer the person he'd been back in his parents' kingdom. Even if he considered taking them up on their offer to return home, a decision that continued to confound and frustrate him, he would be returning as a different man, a better man, a man determined to prove that he had something to contribute to the world. This fierce need to be useful was still new to him, but it was strong. The feeling grew even stronger whenever he was around Tiana. Witnessing the effort she put into making her restaurant a success inspired him. It pushed him to seek the same for himself. He wanted her to see him as someone who took pride in putting in a hard day's work. Naveen cradled his head in his good hands, releasing an exasperated sigh. He was not sure how Tiana saw him now. He was in a perpetual state of confusion when it came to her. He had been so sure he was making progress, given the laughs they shared yesterday. Yet this morning, Tiana was right back to avoiding him. Remembering how she reacted after bandaging his hand, as if she could not get away from him quick enough, caused a sharp ache to pierce his chest. If only he could figure out why she treated him that way. What more could he do to make her like him? Except she did like him. He was sure of it. The way she had laughed at his silly jokes and teased him. The way she attended to his injured hand, taking net care not to hurt him, as if hurting it was the absolute worst thing that could ever happen. The way she had stared into his eyes, as they had stood so close to each other. She cared about him, but for some reason she was still hesitant to show it. Naveen tried to flex his hand, but the moment he did, he felt the skin crack open again, and blood seep through the handkerchief Tiana had wrapped around his wound. "Oh, Naveen, you're bleeding," Charlotte said. "It is nothing," Naveen said to Charlotte. But he was looking at Tiana. He wanted to know if she had hurt, and if she was worried. He saw her back stiffen, but she did not turn. "Are you sure? Your entire hand is red now," Charlotte said. "Is it hot to the touch?" Tiana asked, although she kept her eyes straight ahead. Naveen ran his fingers over his injured hands. I can't really tell. Strange, eh?" "Not if you're feverish," Tiana said. "Lottie, touch his hand and see if it's warm, or if it hurts when you touch it." "I don't want to touch it," Charlotte cried. "His hand won't bite you," Tiana said. "Just press on the flesh surrounding the cut, but be gentle." Naveen held his hand out to Charlotte, who approached it with the same caution one would take when encountering a venomous snake. She gingerly poked at the back of his hand with her finger. At first Naveen had intended to jerk it back as a joke, but there was no joking about it. Her touch sent a flash of intense pain shooting through his hand. He yelped. "Yeah, I'd say it hurts when I touch it, all right," Charlotte said. "I knew it," Tiana said. She shook her head. "Infection is setting in." "What does that mean?" Naveen asked, trepidation slithering down his spine at the foreboding he heard in her voice. "Oh, I know," Lewis said. "You're going to have to chop off your whole hand if you don't want to lose your arm. I saw it happen before." "What?" Naveen screeched. "Lewis, you are not helping," Tiana hissed. "You're not going to lose your hand," she said. "I'm sure Mama Rhodey will be able to help. She can do anything." "How much longer before we're there?" Naveen asked. "It won't be long," Tiana said. Finally she turned to him, glancing over her shoulder and looking him directly in the eyes. "You'll be okay. I promise you, Naveen." There it was again. That concern of him that she could not mask, despite how often she tried to hide it. What was she so afraid of? He needed to figure out a way to break past the barrier Tiana had erected against her feelings for him. If only he knew why she continued to do so, it would be so much easier for them to get past it. He just did not understand. Tiana's behaviour was the opposite of what he was used to. He wasn't arrogant enough to think that every woman he encountered would just fall at his feet. Well, okay, maybe he had been that arrogant in the past, mainly because it was true. Women did fall at his feet. He was a prince, after all. Yet the one person he felt the deepest connection to was the only one who appeared immune to his charms. Still, it was more apparent to him than ever that the magnetic pull between them wasn't just a figment of his imagination. It thrummed through the air whenever they were near. He just hoped it, and he was enough.